We're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bootcamp. Today we'll be doing. Are we doing animation work in JavaScript React?
Yes, yes. We are going to first do web animation API without React, and first understand the APIs, the reason for using it, why we are using it instead of other APIs, and so on.
Okay.
And Zeeshan, are you ready? Mr. Zeeshan, can you hear me?
Yes.
Anika, are you ready?
Just creating a repository. Just a moment.
You go ahead.
So
Let
that
me
we can use it directly.
Let me start off with the theory.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Yes. Let's start.
Can you?
Yes.
Yes, I can. Can you?
Yeah, I can. We can hear you.
There's a delay, I think.
Yes. Yes, I'm ready. I was just creating a repository so that we can have it as a base repository we have to revenue.
Zeeshan, what we are going to do is I'm going to start with the theory, and then you are going to tell us about the APIs and the rest of the stuff. Okay. What we are going to do is let's start.
Sure.
First of all, we have to understand what is animation. In animation, you basically show different pictures, different things at different points of time. The reason we are using web animation API is why do we are using web animation? There are a number of libraries which basically are better and more comprehensive. Actually, I used the wrong word. They are not better, more comprehensive than the web animation API. This is a standard library, web animation API, which is used in browsers. It is native to browsers. The reason is the performance. In animation, because we show a lot of different pictures, performance is critical. Otherwise, there's jerking. The frame rate has to be high. The maximum possible frame rate and the maximum possible performance will be in native code, which is most probably implemented in C and C++ in the browser. So therefore, we are using the web animation API as compared to other. The functionality is basic in web animation API, but the performance is much better. And the future is, of course, the native library, which is built into the browser. Before we move forward, let's see what are the main concepts of web API concepts. I am going to use Zeeshan, can you hear me? Yeah? I think there is some lag between me and Zeeshan. He hears me later on.
Yes, I can hear you. My internet was causing problem.
Okay. Why don't you show me the screen for web animation API?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Please show web animation API concepts page on the browser. What I'm going to do is basically...
Adil, can you hear me?
Adil, you can show it also.
Yes, Zeeshan, I can hear you. I think your internet connection is delayed or something.
Adil?
Yes.
Why don't I have just shared with you a URL. Why don't you open it and share it?
Sure, I can do that. Have you sent it?
Yes.
Oh, using web animations API?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
API concepts. In private chat, I have sent you a link. Did you receive it?
Yes, I've got it. Let me share my screen as well. Oh. My internet was good until now.
What happens is these new cameras are very extensive, and this StreamYard is also very memory intensive. Therefore, before you start the class, please shut down all your other applications. What I do is usually before the class, I restart my computer. Otherwise, it's too slow.
Yeah.
It's a memory problem.
Let's refresh again.
Therefore, whenever I start off my class, I restart my computer. Okay. If you are having difficulty, let me share it.
Yeah, maybe this URL is not fine.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Yes.
can. Other, we are having a problem.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I'm trying to share the screen, but I think your computer is.
My screen isn't even being shared. It's stuck.
The thing is,
Zishan
Can
is
you hear me now?
yes,
Zishan is
I can.
sharing now.
Please share the concepts API, and I think you have opened Zeeshan's two screens.
Yeah, that's from his end. I don't have control over that. I can remove it. Here we go.
Zeeshan, please share the animation API concepts.
I think it's fine now. Yeah.
I have shared my screen. Basically, long from past 2 days is causing a problem. I have complained them, but they are accepting that their data service is not stable from past 2 days. So Zong causing a problem. Okay,
Okay.
so meanwhile, let's see. Here's
Okay.
the concept document.
Yes, yes. Go ahead and move to this. Now, if you go look at it, the thing is the first thing that is the timing. The two models, when you are doing animation, there are two things: timing and animation object. What happens is, as soon as you load the animation, load the page, that page starts a timer, and that timer basically records times. For example, it always has a current time which goes back to the first time the page is loaded. So therefore, what it does is it helps us basically tell our animation that at what time, what should be the start time of a particular animation. In the future APIs, the timer can start, for example, on the scroll, or what do you say, a button click and so on. But right now there is only one timer which starts as soon as the page loads. The second thing is the animation, what do you call, animation object. Basically, how do you control the animation object? The timer is done automatically, you don't have to do anything. What you do is basically, in any element on the page, what you do basically is call a method called animate. It takes two parameters. The first parameter is basically the, what do you call,
Frames.
the frames, keyframes. We will show you, for example, we will share the first frame is that on 0 time, you basically show a complete cat. And at 50%, you show half the cat. And at 100% time, you don't show any cat. Therefore, this animation object will basically extrapolate and basically find out, for example, how will the cat show at 75% of the time, at 0.75% of the point. And the second parameter is basically how long will the animation take. It can be infinity, or it can be 5 seconds, or anything. Therefore, basically, we have a default timing object which calculates the time as soon as this page loads. Then what you do is call the element animate method. In the animate method, you pass two things. First is the animation keyframes, which basically you tell at what time what will show. And the second thing is the timer. You tell it when it will start and how long it will run. Therefore, let's start the coding, and maybe you will understand it better. Yeah, continuously repeat it, and then you will be able to understand it better. Zeeshan, can you hear me? Let's start the coding. I think Zeeshan is not able to hear me.
Zeeshan's connection is again frozen, I think. Let me... I'm messaging him. He's back. Zeeshan, can you hear me? And he's gone.
What we are going to do is, Adil, how's your internet behaving?
For some reason, StreamYard is working, but nothing else is working.
I told you, just close down all the applications. You have too many applications. You have too many applications are open.
No, basically, my internet connection is not stable from past 2 days. I have complained to the Zong. They are saying their data service is not stable from yesterday as soon as the rain starts. So it's because of the internet service.
Okay. What we try to do is, Zeeshan, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Just open the API. Let's start doing the development.
Okay. So let me show the using. So first we need to understand, as Sadzia mentioned, that we have two things: timing and animation. Timing, basically whatever animation you are doing, as currently we are doing in a web page. So for the web page, the timeline is from the page loaded till the page is still keeps open. Otherwise, for animation, what we do is whatever part we need to do with animation, the time consists at that portion. In our page, it's a full page, and the second portion is animation. So let me show you directly the basic concept. This is directly. So what we need to do is whatever element we have, we need to understand that animation is a simply transforming or changing or updating a property of an element. So whatever we are doing, we are actually manipulating a property of an element. So in case, I'll explain in an example, but in this case, we have an element called, which has an ID ls. We are applying animation over there, and we are manipulating its transform property. We are providing arrays. So as we have discussed that there are keyframes, what we need to do at time 0, what should be at time 50, and what should be at time 100. So we can provide information what should be the state of element at particular time frame or keyframe. and then we will provide the information that what should be the duration, what should be the iteration. So let me directly go to the code and show you the example. Okay.
At this stage, we are not using React. First, let's understand the animation
Yes.
APIs, and then later on we will integrate it with React.
Okay, so here I have a div, and I'm providing it a class. Let's say shape, and so at this moment we have simply hello world. What we need to do is we need to first also we need to understand that whenever we are working with the animations, so we need to understand the properties of element, and to manipulate those properties generally we do with CSS. So what I'm trying to do is I'll try to provide some CSS to this element so that we can understand what the current state is, and then we can change it. So I just change the background to again red, and it's width 200 pixel, height will be 100 pixel, and I'll show this. So here we have a rectangle, and what I'll do is I'll try to create it as a circle. So I'll do it a border. I'll give it a border radius. 50%. So I have a circle now, so I'll remove the text hello world. Now what I need to do is I need to animate this circle to at the X position, or I want to change the color, or I want to change the opacity of that element. Whatever I need to do is lie in the context of animation. So now what I'll do is in a script, I'm not creating multiple files for JSN separately so that we can see everything over here. War dot query selector dot shape frames. Here we are creating frames so that we know that what should be at particular point in time. This array requires object, and each object provides the particular frame. So we need to provide position, what should be time 0. So what I'll be doing is, let's start with the background color. So I'll say background red, and at the second state it will be yellow. Just 2 keyframes, and another timing. I need to give it the timing. I'll say duration. Let's say 2 seconds. So we'll provide in we need to provide it in a millisecond. Here we have 2 elements, and now shape element dot animate. And on this animate, first argument will be, this is in a function. First argument will be frames, and second argument will be timing. Let's see. Nothing happens, might be some error. Cannot read property element of null. Document dot.
I think the the reason is, Zeeshan, you have not done this in the load element.
Okay. Yes. Basically, because script is being loaded before the element is shown on the screen, so we need to apply this in on load. So window dot add event listener load comma function, and I'll move complete object inside the load. Okay. Now we can see it changed the color, but it's suddenly after changing it back to the red. So what I'll do is I'll do iteration infinity. Keeps changing the color. Let me reduce the time so that it shows some speedy change. So here is the one property background. What we can do is we can provide multiple stages. So what I can do is I'll change it to the blue. So the transition will be red, then it will be blue, and then yellow. So the frames, the color, what you say, the feature of animation, what it do is two things. First, you don't need to provide the color in between. The transition between red to blue will be interpolated. It's called transition. It's done by animation object by itself. So it will be done itself. Secondly, the time. We have provided 1 second, so that animation will distribute it over the 1000 millisecond. That means 333 milliseconds transition for the first frame, and then second 330 for second time frame, and third will be for the yellow. What we can do is just add another property to the animation so that we can animate this circle to our right side. So what I can do is I'll provide the another property which is called transform.
Transforms are basically three kinds, but what are you going to do? First, translate.
Yes, I'll do translate.
Translate basically shifts the object
Position. Yeah. So I'll shift it to the X position so that it will go to the right side.
Mm-hmm.
A translate has multiple options: translate X, translate Y, translate 3D. At this moment, I'm just using translate X. So I'll say 600 px. Oh, sorry, 0 px, and then it will move from the 0 px to 600 px. So as we can see, time is too short, that's why it's moving too fast. Let me increase the duration. Now it animate the property of translate. Translate means shift the X position or Y position. So if we want to animate, or if we want to move element in a HTML DOM element in UI, so we use translate property, transform property, and we change its translate information. So translate X. So the first frame, the 0 point should be 0 translate X. So it should be stay wherever it is. And then we say translate X in the last frame, it should be at 300 pixels. So it's going forward. Now what we can do is in the timing, we have another option, direction. In direction, we can say alternate. Alternate means once it reaches to the end, it will reverse back. Another option in direction is reverse. So it starts with the reverse position. You can play with these properties easily. They are available on the web API, and you can change. So whatever properties. So you need to understand two things. First, you are manipulating properties of an element. So you are manipulating in animation. Actually, if you are moving the character or any shape or any element, you are actually animating its property. So either it's a background, either it's a width, either it's a radius. I can also control the radius, so I can change the radius in translation. We can change width, we can change height, whatever property element has, we can change that property using animation. So document.query selector, frame has an array, and you can provide the object for the frames, keyframes, first, second, third. You can provide 4, 5, whatever frames you require. And the timing object requires duration, iteration, direction, and then you provide that in animation dot animate function, so that it will animate the element. If you understand these basic points, you can do whatever or many shapes or many animation style you can apply over an element. Do you want to add something, or should I
Yes,
move?
Zeeshan, let's move forward and get the animation object and then pause it and restart it and do those kind of things. I think Zeeshan is stuck again.
Yep. He's back.
I'm back. So at what point I was break? I explained the
I
final
think
stage.
You finished it.
you finished it. We are now going to see. We are going to now get the animation object and then call different methods on it.
Okay. So what we can do is, at this moment, as we can see that this element, what we are doing is, this element, as soon as it starts, it start animating, and we do not have control over the element, so we can stop, pause, or we can update or anything. So what we can do is, we can control these properties with the functions provided by the animate object, and so we can control it. Okay, so in the shape element, whenever we call shape element dot animate, it returns an animation object. So I'll control it over here. Shape animate, and instead of doing it directly, what I'll do is I'll create few buttons. Okay, so we have I have 4 buttons over here now, and I'll use these buttons to control the animations. So let's say in same load function, what I'll do is, first I'll have to call the event listener to apply the event on particular button. So what I'm going to do is play class. Okay. Okay, so play, pause, reverse, update playback rate. So for the play, because we have an shape animate object, we can simply call play. Nothing is special. I'll explain playback rate later. First, let me show these properties. Okay, so what I can do is pause. So animation stops, play, it will again start playing, reverse, so it will start moving in reverse direction. As soon as I press the reverse, animation completely starts in the reverse direction. So I can pause it, I can play it, execute, play, cannot be reversed, okay, maybe some over animation. Reverse, it's working, okay. So we can see these properties now. So there is a simple properties animation dot play, pause, reverse. You can play and pause. One thing is whenever we saw some video on YouTube or anywhere, what we can do is we can speed up the uh, video by 1x or 2x. So the same can be applied. The playback rate is the rate which shows the animation timeline runs in a normal smooth, what you say, in a 1x state. So we can increase that. So what I'll do is shape animate dot update playback rate, and we have current playback, so we can, whenever I press the update playback, so it increase the speed instead of just keep this showing the same. So what we can do is shape animate dot um, playback rate. It will give you the current playback rate. What I'll do is multiply it by 1.1 or 1.2, whatever we want to do. Okay, so as soon as I'm just keep clicking, so it is speed just increasing. Why? Because the current playback rate was 1, so I'll increase it to 1.2, so it's become 1.2, and then 1.2 multiply by 1.2, so it will start accumulating and it increase the speed. I can pause, play, works with the same speed. So we can control the playback rate with this direction, and playback rate can also use to run in reverse order. So instead of doing this, I can say -1. As soon as I press the, it will start playing in reverse order. So we can control this in this way. So while learning this, I was just curious to how we can use some image. Like there was an example which you have Shazia has mentioned in uh, example. Yeah,
Is that
this example. Yes, the Alice example. So what I did is I tried to find an animated GIF for an animal, and I wanted to move that animal. So there is nothing special. Just you just have that element or that image, so you can use it. So I just have that image. I'll use it directly instead of going in. What I'll do is I'll keep this HTML file as it is. I'll create a new HTML file, index2.html, copy everything into index.2, and instead of shape, I have the img src, and the shape. class property. I'll just move this class property to image, and I do not want to change the background color, so there is no background color. So you can see now it's going in the reverse direction. So what I can do is I'll stop the direction alternate. We'll just keep running. Let me translate it to the 1400. It's going too fast. I can pause, play it. So it's just a simple GIF, which is itself as an animated GIF. It shows the lion walking, but we can now what I can do is I can increase the speed. So here, these are the few functions which you can use, and there are many other things which we can do, but we can learn with the gradually with things we require. So anything you want to add, sir?
Yes, let's start with project 4A. In project 4A, you just
okay. Okay, so what it says.
What we have to do is, this is the homework for everyone. In the next class, Adil will basically do this entire animation and basically show it without React. First, our first function is basically to show that how we can do it without React. Now, I want to discuss a little bit about a recent trend. Let's, Zeeshan, look at some websites.
Okay.
If you go to project 5.
Project 5.
This is a bonus. This is the bonus extra project. The first thing is, what are the 8 biggest web design trends of 2020? Let's open this.
Okay, so most popular web design trend. Forward thinking in illustration, in your face, and so in random shapes.
Let's do it one by one. In the thing is, the latest design trend is that basically the web design is a very, what do you call, a trendy thing. Whatever the trend, people like that. The forward-looking illustration, you basically what you are basically get you basically design a website by showing different illustrations, and then using that illustration, basically you do a lot of animation. Let's go over the other design trends. Look at this, animated illustrations. This is the design trend.
Yes.
And look at this thing. They are also animating it.
So the illustration, animated cartoons or animated shapes moved to explain whatever what the website is doing or what the features of website.
Yes, that is the major trend. Let's go down.
Hand-drawn illustration.
Yes, this is a latest trend for the last 2-3 years.
Yes.
Let's go down. Now, I don't like the second trend. Basically, in your face, they show some discounts and other things right in front of you. I don't like this trend.
Bad experience. Huh?
That experience is also whenever you open a page, just some discount or some kind of offer pop-up comes up.
Yes, I hate it. And that's doesn't mean if something is a trend, it is a good thing. Yes, go ahead.
Pop-ups are back. It says pop-ups are back.
Yes, go ahead.
Random shapes.
Well,
Third
this
one
is
is
okay. This is okay. But then the thing is, the link is there. The other people go and check it out, and find out what the latest trends are. If you go back to the bootcamp thing, the second thing is 20 extraordinary web design ideas that will everyone clicking. Let's check that out. Here again, it is saying
illustration-based web design.
The same thing. I'm just giving a different references. This is the first design trend. Go ahead. What is the second? We have already discussed this.
I think it's stuck.
We have to restart, Zeeshan.
Let me disconnect him. Maybe I can. My connection is working, so maybe I can. Can you see my screen?
No. Yes.
So I think Zeeshan is back. Let me add him again.
Okay, I'm back.
Zeeshan, I took over the screen.
Okay.
Or do you want to continue? Do you want to continue? You can.
No problem. You can.
Okay. So we were talking about this one.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So illustration-based web designs, which are like all images, vintage-inspired typography.
That's okay.
I think images are still coming through. This is the one you guys were just saying is not a good experience, right?
Yeah, I hate it.
So, do all of them have images? This one has no image. Here. So vintage inspired typography. So I guess this is about text. You can have
yes. Basically, the idea is that you are going to basically check it out yourself. Card design trends and other trends. The point is that before starting a website or a web application, you basically check it out. Now, what we are going to do is, the thing is, Adil, you are going to basically do 4A without React next time.
Okay.
Let's discuss 4B. Please also create 2 forms for 4A, submitting 4A and 4B.
Sure. 4B is tiny short animation with React hooks.
Now, right now, we are not going to do it with React hooks. We are going to do it without React hooks.
We're doing
Uh,
4A
mhm.
first and then 4B, right?
Yes, 4B. Open up that link of 4B.
This one.
4A, we have already shown. It is
Yeah.
all the... Now, tiny short animation trend in web design. What they have shown is different websites. What you are going to do is basically... no, not go here. Go down.
Further down? Okay,
Mm.
yeah.
Now we are going to look at different examples of websites. The first one is Syscoin. Let's open this. Just click it and not here.
This
Yes. This is a blockchain website. And just scroll a little bit down so that we can see all the animations.
this looks like their blockchain and all their applications.
Yes.
All the different nodes on the blockchain, I guess that's what these are.
Yes. 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 Now go to the second one. Also, there we already saw this. We have already seen it. Second one.
Digital Panda.
For 4B, you are going to select one of them
Mm-hmm.
and basically or your own idea
Oh, this
and
is nice.
create a page.
Very nice.
I just wanted to show all the students what different people are doing on the internet.
Yeah. This is a good like portfolio kind of thing.
Mm.
Nice.
Yes.
Go to the third one.
Camo. So this one, there's one animation here. Looks like some sort of science.
Mhm. Let's go to the third one. Fourth one.
There's two of them. So the hand-drawn sketches.
Uh-huh. All of my dear friends and students must understand, the clients, most of the clients are not technical. They do not understand if we implement something very beautifully on the server side.
Yeah.
Most of the clients love things on the client side.
Yeah.
Therefore, animation and graphics is very important. Of course, we are not graphic designers, but we must know what we can do is, from these examples, we can take the images and do the animations ourselves using Web Animation API. So therefore, let's go back to the Bootcamp web page. The thing is, what we have to do is basically in 4A and 4B, we have to do the 4A was, remember, just open the code and demo again. 4A was this, the Alice in Wonderland animation. This is put forward by one of the browser. We are going to copy this and we are going to convert it into React. Zeeshan bhai, this
Yes.
what, my dear brother, this what we are going to do.
Sure.
And the second one is from all the animations we have seen so far. Let's go to 4B.
Yep.
And in 4B, we are going to basically use what do you call
One of those websites.
one of the websites, or you can make your own. Depends on what you want to do and what your capabilities are. You can using web animation idea, take their ideas and maybe create your own ideas. But in both these cases, the end project should be in React. But we have not covered React yet. So in the next class, Adil,
Yep.
you are going to try to make these two projects, 4A and 4B, without React.
Without
Zeeshan,
React. Okay.
Zeeshan's job will be, if you go down a little bit in project 5, I have given the links. I will bring these links upward. I think I made a mistake of
These links,
how to basically use React in these.
It's already up. They are already up. You can just scroll up. Oh,
I think I forgot because I've been changing it so much.
okay.
These links.
I think I've been changing it so much.
It was there till evening.
Because I'm continuously updating and trying to improve the course material. So point is, we are going to, in the next class, we are going to start using animation in React applications and React components. How to do that? Basically, there are 2 articles which we will cover in the next class, which Zeeshan and I am going to cover. Adil, you are going to do project 4A and 4B without React.
Okay.
And maybe then we will go to how to change it to React. Is not going to be very difficult. What do you think, Zeeshan? It's easy.
Yes.
Once we have done it without React, with React, it's not going to be. Anything else? I think today we have a short class, and
I just need to add two or three things related to a few questions and related to the animation.
Go ahead.
Okay, so our first question was that do we need to keep the same properties in first frame as we have original object? So you should not. You can use the different properties, but then when animation keeps running, it will show you the jerk. Let's say in the translation, normally you had a 0, and first frame, if you provide the what you say 100, so it will show as soon as page start, it show jump, and then it start moving. So it will give you the display like it's jumping around. So that's why you need to keep the properties consistent with the original state. What you can do is you can there is another property in timing, I missed that, is a delay. What you can do is you can delay the animation start. So as soon as your application load, you can as I have provided the duration, you can provide the property delay, and let's say I'll provide a 2000 millisecond. So as soon as page load, after the 2-second animation will start. So you can provide that. Another one was, what is the difference between CSS animation and JavaScript animation? CSS animation has some limitations. It's similar to the CSS animation, like keyframes we have in CSS, but there are a lot of things which pure CSS cannot do and require the behavioral, because CSS animation is declarative animation. So once you have put something over there, you cannot manipulate with the programmatically. You can do, but that's a different and difficult way to do it. So it's JavaScript animation provides you lot of controls over your animation. You can do many additional things better than CSS animation. So that's an improvement in the animation API. So that's better to use with the what you say JavaScript animation. And to if there is anything missing or anything is not working, as currently I have not used any polyfills. but there are polyfills available. The concept page we have discussed initially, it has a link called polyfills. That library, what this library do is, if anything is missing and you want to do it, so it implement the without the JS animation and other features. So you can use that polyfill with that.
Thank you so very much. In the next class, we are going to, on Saturday, we are going to cover 2 animations will be shown by Adil, and I and Zeeshan are going to cover React, how to incorporate it. I'm going to update the website also, just to say the 2 articles which are available, how to integrate it with React, and we are going to cover that. Thank you so much.
Are you going to take the code I write and change it to React, or it's going to be a different thing?
Right now, you are going to first, we'll see, because
Okay.
I'm not sure if you can do it in a day or 2. Maybe we can change it to.
We might need more time. I don't know.
That's why I didn't mention it. And you are basically putting yourself in a corner yourself. Not a very wise thing to do.
Right.
Because whenever UI is concerned, even small things, matter. It takes a lot of time to make
UI
something
takes
beautiful.
time.
To make something beautiful, even small things create problems.
Yep.
Thank you so very much, all of you. See you on Saturday. Thank you.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 जल्दी हो गया हम